Hello, everyone. My name is Everett Kennedy,
My name is Karen Mullins.
and this afternoon we have the distinct pleasure of interviewing a true GMEA legend. We're here with Mr. Ed Davis. I've known him for a long time. I knew him of his reputation before I knew him as a person, and I've known him as a person for a long time. And
I've known Ed Davis since being one of his student teachers in 1993, and it left a huge impact on me and just a love of music education, wanting to share it with people and get people into the profession.
That was 30 years ago.
It was 30 years ago.
I must have been 12 at that time. I started at a very young age.
well, Mr. Davis is a renowned band director, music educator. He's also past president of the Georgia Music Educators Association, and he's also a member of our Georgia Bandmaster Hall of Fame. So we're going to get into some of the background that led to these things, and we have a series of questions, and we're going to have kind of a discussion here. But first, we kind of like to know, how did you start in music? Who was someone that maybe inspired you to become part of music, or what generated your first interest in music?
My dad was an amateur guitarist, and my dad tried to teach my brother, who's 4 years older than I am, the basic chords, C, E, and G, and at the end of the session, my brother couldn't play anything, and I could play all three chords. I'm not bragging or anything, I'm just saying. So, and my mom sang in the church choir, and both parents were just super supportive of my endeavors. I started a high school rock band when I was a junior in high school. And a little tidbit of information: the group that I started in 1967 still has an annual reunion every year.
Awesome.
Wow.
And with the original 6 members.
Wow. Incredible.
And we like each other. And we sound pretty good.
Yeah.
So I know from just being around you, you play. There's nothing much that you don't play, and you like all kinds of music. What was maybe your favorite aspect of your playing? What is your favorite thing that you do?
At this point in time,
Yeah, at this point in time.
I'm the conductor of the Atlanta Mandolin Orchestra, which meets once a week on Monday night. And I just started in this position because the conductor for 30 years just retired. And he made the comment, he says, Ed Davis needs to take my place. So I am the new conductor of the Atlanta Mandolin Orchestra. And most people don't even know what a mandolin orchestra is.
Oh, but I do.
But I'm having a good time with it. And,
Excellent.
still teaching. I still teach beginning band at Strong Rock Christian School 2 days a week. It's a perfect schedule. I start at 8:15 in the morning, and at 9 o'clock I'm getting in my car, and at 9:30 I'm drinking coffee at my house.
What a life.
Somebody's got to do it.
That's right.
May as well be me. And they pay me a little bit, so that's good too.
Okay.
So, like all of us, you joined the band, and then at some point there was some kind of inspiration to do music after high school, or to become a band teacher. What kind of inspired you to want to become a band leader?
I started in band when I was in the 5th grade, and my family did not have a whole lot of money. We had more love than most any other family, but my dad was a tobacco farmer, and anyway, I got my start back then, and I'm still loving what I do. I started out by playing the tuba in the school band, low brass, and since then I've graduated to a few things. I play a few instruments, some better than others, but anyway, still enjoying it after all of these years.
All these years. Well, one thing I really know about you is you're very positive, and I love that about you. I think you've influenced every everybody around you, music educators especially, in a very positive way. And if you had to tell a new teacher just one of the most important things that you've learned and that you have been able to carry with you in helping you be successful, what would that be?
Surround yourself with the best people that you know, the most talented. Pick their brains every time you're around them. As a matter of fact, when I started out teaching, band directors in Clayton County would hate to see me coming because I would have their attention for at least 15 or 20 minutes, just finding out how they did things. Mm-hmm. Never be afraid to ask questions, because we can always learn something. I'm still learning at my age, at 74, and the good part about it is I'm relearning some things that I have forgotten over the years. But anyway.
So you mentioned some of the Clayton County directors. Who were some of your early influences in the band directing field?
Lloyd Tarpley, first year as instrumental music coordinator, was my first year at Jonesboro High School, 1975. And he would come to my band room at least once a week, sometimes twice a week. And I would always pick his brain, ask him, I said, what do you see? And he was never afraid to tell me the things that I needed to know. So whenever you're around people that know more than you, don't be afraid to ask questions. Mm-hmm. Because most of the time they will know many things that you don't know. So never be afraid to ask.
Absolutely. Why specifically do you think music education is important?
Well, in order to become a well-rounded individual, you need every aspect. And music education, I think, is a very important part of becoming a well-rounded individual. I mean, you can be involved with sports or literature or whatever, but music education is all around us. You can't go for 30 minutes without hearing music, and you may as well understand what you're listening to.
Absolutely.
Well said.
Yeah.
Why would you, or if you had the opportunity to go back and start your career over, is there anything that you might like to try different, or that anything that you would do differently?
No. If I had it to do all over again, I'd do it all over again, exactly the same way. And I was very fortunate to be at the right place at the right time. When my wife and I moved to Georgia in 1975, Clayton County was the music mecca of not only Georgia, but the East Coast. I mean, the program, I heard about the music program in Clayton County when I was in college as a youngster.
Wow.
The programs were world renowned. Julian Creamer was the middle school, actually back then, junior high band director when I started at Adamson in 1977. And he had two Midwest bands. And fortunately in 1986, my band was invited to perform at Midwest because of the role models. I had that as a goal. For young band directors, you have to set goals. Even though they may seem unrealistic to you at the time, you must set goals and revise those goals, sometimes on a daily basis.
Well, I certainly remember being a young director, and maybe not so young a director anymore, and I still think, I distinctly remember thinking a lot of times when I was a young director, that what would Ed Davis do about this issue, especially when I was teaching middle school band. What would he do? What this, how would he solve this musical issue? Your name was definitely one of a few names that I would think, what would they do in this situation? And I was able to get out of some of those situations thinking what you would do.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, but again, it's because I was so inquisitive at a young age. I wanted to know everything, and I was not bashful or afraid to ask questions. And the nucleus of people in Clayton County were willing to share. As a matter of fact, we all like talking shop, and that's what we were doing. We're talking shop. How do you do this?
Mhm.
And I'm still learning.
And y'all were doing it in 1993 when I was there too.
Yeah.
It carried on for quite a while, a long time.
Well, I only started teaching in '75, so.
Right.
Actually, take that back. No, I started in 1972. My wife and I started the band programs in Harnett County, North Carolina, which is about 60 miles outside of Raleigh, where we lived. And
Wow.
I learned so much about what not to do. Why did I do that?
Yeah.
But it was fun.
Well, just as a segue into that, what would you recommend to music educators in how to advocate their programs and how to advocate music education to those people who don't understand it?
By being the very best that you can be, you will spread the love. Be the very best band director that you possibly can be. Most importantly, be the very best person that you can be, because you're not only teaching music, you're teaching personal skills to your students. I feel like I do as much of that in a classroom period as in addition to talking about music. So
Absolutely.
don't be afraid to share what you know, because most everybody actually knows more than they think they know. So don't be afraid to pick your own brain. And always strive for excellence. Band programs were promoted by exposure. I was never afraid to share with people what I knew, but I also had many opportunities to showcase the band, both on the community level, PTA programs, school assemblies, but also invitational exposure. I applied, once I started having a little success in about 1977, I guess it was, I applied for conventions, and Adamson Junior High School Band had 12 consecutive years of invitational performance for district, regional, state, and international conferences, including the Midwest International Band and Orchestra clinic that we played for in 1986. The highlight of my career. I felt like I had arrived.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. Is there anything else you want to share with us about your career, or?
I had
I'm
another
sorry.
question, and or maybe you could expound upon. There are two great institutions in this state that you have had a part in founding. That is the Encore Band Camp and the Terra Winds. And I feel like both of those things have changed the landscape of band in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a little bit about how each of those got started?
Our mutual friend Larry Vollman and I used to get together on a regular basis, and I've forgotten what year it was, but sitting at his kitchen table after we had eaten, he says, "We need to start a community group. There are lots of people, our colleagues, that would play if they had a group to perform in." So I said, "Okay, let me see what I can do." So I called Barbara Buellman, who at that time was the executive director of the Midwest International Band and Orchestra Clinic, and I said, "I'd like to start a community group." And she says, "Well, I'll just share with you what the North Shore Band does." So she sent me all the organizational materials from the North Shore Band in Chicago. At that time, probably the best adult concert band in the world. John Painter was the conductor, and again, she was the executive director. And so I got the information and pretty much patterned Terra Winds after that, with her permission. And when I got out of college, I had the opportunity of teaching summer camp for the Mid-Atlantic Junior High Band Camps that was started by John D. Savage. A little background on John D. Savage. He recently passed within the last 3 years or so, but he had a grade 6 high school band in Greenville, Virginia, the middle of nowhere. And he had tons of students, a large number of students every year to make the all-state band. And so I picked his brain, and he was willing to share. And so anyway, the summer camp, Mid-Atlantic Junior High Band Camp, I basically took and adapted Encore, and the rest is history. It's still alive after, I think I started in 1988 or something like that. So anyway.
Wow.
Yeah, some great memories. And again, as I've said this 2 times before, if I had to do all over again, I'd do it all over again.
Awesome.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, again, do you have anything other that you would like to share with us about your teaching career or advice to teachers in general?
If I could give advice to young band directors and all band directors, is always keep a positive attitude. There never needs to be any type of negativity in your thoughts or your actions, because those spread like wildfire. And it's better to spread positive attitude and positive thoughts than negative, because nobody benefits from that and nobody wants to hear about it. So just be, again, in order to promote your program, as I've said earlier, I'll reiterate this, have them out playing at every opportunity, whether it be for community gatherings, PTA meetings, school assembly programs, pep rallies, because everybody loves music. And the more you play, the more people will realize that music education is alive and well in their area. So,
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, and I can, both of us can personally say thank you for the inspiration and influence on both of our careers as music educators and lives.
Mm-hmm.
well, I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
We are what we're around.
Yes.
So be around the most positive people you can be around, and be a good influence. So that's what I strive. That's what I still strive to do. After teaching for 50 years, I'm still teaching beginning band in a little private school, and actually taught class this morning. And there's nothing like young kids and music and the enthusiasm. Never in a person's lifetime will there be more enthusiasm for music than in the beginning stages.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
You as well.